on the other side. Sometimes that decision is in your hands, and in the case of Tox, sometimes that decision is not. But it's all now down to both sides of players. The choice is theirs. Do you fight and do you win? Or do you go home as second place losers? It is 10,000 euros on the line for the winner of the first edition, the warm-up edition of the Monaco Gaming Show. And we are off and away in this best of 7. The Giants in the blue, Solary in the orange. Let us know who your favorites are in chat. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Monegascan French folks hoping for Solary, the last remaining French team in the league, to win. And they're going to get things started off in the worst way possible, Danny. It's Stake with a precision strike. It's 1-0 to the Giants.
You're right, highlighted sort of his accuracy in the shooting, that role to be played. But we mentioned as well, to an extent, best of 7, they have luxury of time for to drop 2 games in a series. Of course, you never want to be in that situation, but you can, and not need to worry, not need to stress. You can adapt into the series, find out the problems, and an early goal will just show them they've got to settle down and have a calm head in this grand finale.
It's another lovely shot from Zamway, saved away by Exotic round the corner, and it's going to be away from Tox, downfield to Kerry. What a lovely transition, and it's not going to be a goal. Massive save down the other end of the pitch here for Stake, denying an almost certain equaliser. It's infield. Zamway keeps it out of the enemy hands, and Stake with the transition again, now this time to Zamway round the corner. A catch up high, but he's a little too late to the scene.
Straight little players, and maybe Itachi can do something, and seems to be no. I've seen how Solary can be damaging, how their passing players with such a thrill to watch as well. Oxygen struggled in OTs, and carry on straight across and blocked it goes. So it seems to be a situation where our Vodafone Giants have to respond here. They might be the one side that is up at the moment, but they're certainly not playing like it, and that's an excellent save.
It's been the defensive Giants, much like it was the defensive Solary that's seen them through the series. 1v2, and Tox managed to beat them out. And what a... The defense on display in the Monaco Gaming Show today has been on point. Brilliant save after unbelievable save. It's another one there from Tox. Stake shoots wide, and Zamway closed down by Karian, who tries to break now. It's through Exotic, tries to get it past Stake, does get it past Stake, but Itachi back in place to deny Tox. Goes up to the top of the box. Zamway there first before Karian reaches the position. And Itachi now over the top of 1. Is he going to get past 2? No, Tox there again. And a great second touch to bring it out once again. It's 1v2, this time for Solary, and still Stake able to suss out the defense. A massive save, a backflip save from Itachi. This defense, both defenses, Danny, are so good that I honestly would not be surprised if we don't see another goal in game number 1.
Defensive dream that I love to see. Don't get to see many games like it, and when they do, they usually are a treat. But Solary do not want that cruel fate of being locked out, not able to respond and see it. Oh, that was a fabulous one. If he just got it slightly across, more to his left, that would have been in and right. Just as Zamway's playing with its food at the moment. I might have been taught off for that one, and Itachi, that will go in. Nice try, but Coxer does it better.
And temper, certainly, if you watch the qualifiers. And then those of you who watch the qualifiers know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's Itachi again, top of the box, flip reset. It's a shot inwards. It's off the backboard from Exotic, who shepherds it down to the corner. Zamway goes round. Stake there. Shot. Denied. Here comes Itachi now for another follow-up off the top of the box. Craziness. Trickery. And he's, you know, honestly, he went straight for the far corner. I honestly think the defender was expecting something more. It never came, and Giants have a 2-0 lead.
That situation, usually you would fancy one of the top rates corners, or just drop it down in for the middle of the pass. It's just the rate of the game, sometimes the pace, that little bit of decision making. The Vodafone Giants have been top of the class here with how well they've been playing here, but Solary not to be outdone yet, at least for the opening game, at least. A minute under here, our league, and we could still see at least them have a goal, at least a chance to show they're still in the grand final. What this low, they do that in talks. Well, he's waiting possession, but shoot, build on something.
Oh, it's another massive stay from State denying Carrion as he fell down from the heavens. Tox around the corner, around the world, and unfortunately, no trip around the world is going to find a decent pass for him. Itachi up to the top of the box. Once again, he's just abusing this side wall, making that defense question every single move. It's been a decent performance from Solary, don't get me wrong. Very strong defensively, but what they've been missing is a goal. Any goal, and that's where you got to credit the Giants defense. A complete whiff from Tox is going to see the scoreline padded as Itachi picks up a goal, another one for himself. It's Giants with the lead in the series. It's Giants with the win in game number 1.
All right, in the pre-show, you talked about the style, the Spanish staking the shooting Zanwei with the support, and Itachi just needing what he does best, and they've got the benefit 3-0 rightly so in game 1. Solary didn't look at it, but I want to draw some parallels to it. The semi-final early against Oxygen, they were like this as well too. There are the side, there should be the more warmed up. There's Vodafone Giants who had to wait as well. So strange complexions, but still a lot to wait for. Of course, how this series goes in the distance, that's up to the players, sadly. We can only guess and watch.
Love to see Rule 1 being observed, of course, keeping the ball up as long as possible. Not to be confused with Rule 2, of course, which is the locking of horns, the locking of front bumpers. Ultimately, Vodafone Giants going to be very happy indeed with that first game. A clean sheet, a tick. Goal scored, a tick. Itachi able to flex his muscles and pull the defense apart, which was looking amazing against Oxygen on Solary's side, a tick. And Solary, really, for me, it was a good performance, as I mentioned, from their side. Apart from that one major mistake by Tox at the end there, not really too much to pick apart. The only problem for them is that as much as they tried to attack and break apart that Giants defense, they weren't budging, and that forces Solary onto the front foot. Clearly a style that they weren't comfortable with against Oxygen. Clearly a style that they're not comfortable with here either.
I think it's just how the situation has unfolded. As much as you can sit here and break it down, what we saw in game 1, I think it's not enough determined to break it down analytical wise, but the gameplay was typical Spanish. It wasn't bim bam, but it was sort of that sort of control. I'm going to make it as annoying as possible until you wither away. And that's what we saw, and Giants knows best at all that there. And you draw comparisons to Blockblock, if I remember RCD Espanol at the time, as when Stake was known with the Zamway. So really it's like the rival series experience, and we're going back near enough a year at this point as well. So it just shows you what we call maybe inexperienced players as well, compared to what Oxygen was. Solary just beat them. A bit of time, of course, required, but it's a tricky opening, to say the least, with that 3-0.
Yeah, and especially with the way that RLCSX has gone, where it's homologated everything into one tier. It's difficult to read everything. Difficult to read anything when we're not looking at the game as well. Giants are already 1-0 up. You didn't miss anything. It was literally just that quick. A kickoff goal within the first 5 seconds. Stake on the board. And yes, it's not just, of course, that Tox angle which you talk about where there's a little bit of a sting. Of course, Solary, one of the last 2 teams to be legitimately promoted to the RLCS from the rival series. The team who was denied was the Vodafone Giants, known not at the time as RCD Espanol. That was their mid-phase, wasn't it, when they were Orgless. But you could tell that it stung. They were always a Game 5 team, Giants, always able to hang in there until the end and grind out to win, but they lost out to their main competitors in BDS. Now, of course, again, one of the best teams in the region, and to lose a promotion spot to Solary was just another kick in the teeth, and it was wonderful to see them rise like a phoenix out of those ashes into a team that is much feared as a top 4 team in EU now, along with BDS to a large extent. And Solary really losing Melushisu, the Yukis move never seemed to be strong on paper. It translated into a sort of so-so season with a couple of successes here, but not much movement upwards. I do agree with your sources. I do agree with your little whispers, Danny, that Solary should be aiming for the top 8 at the very least with this new look squad. And Carrion's going to make sure that they score their first goal of the series, 1-1.
Finally, as well, their first goal in this grand finale. It would be a shame to be shut out as well. It just shows you how much history is ingrained just with these two teams, never mind as well for the rest of the tournament as well. Oxygen played train hard, I mentioned, the field as well, so the professional scrim as well. And well, you just need to look at the liturgy of this tournament of who knocked out who. It's like a very long-winded rock, paper, scissors here, and already 90 seconds in. Solary decides to have a small missile to the back wall, so Shame wasn't on target.
Stake forced into another save. He's been good in both offense and defense today. The standout player, besides, of course, Itachi, the real key to the door as things stand. Double touch opportunity for Zamway. The follow-up from Stake. Easy save for Tox. Right place, right time. Good challenge win there as Stake falls back, takes the 100 boost, trying to deny Exotic, who bullies his way through. Infield pass, and unfortunate ricochets off the crossbar, and Carrion picks it up now. Gets the win over Stake. Not much boost to work with. Hops it over Itachi. Infield pass, or a shot on goal. I completely misread the play. Carrion knew what he was doing, and Carrion gets a second. 2-1.
Makes you envious sometimes watching what these players can do. Silky smooth, and the response rate on target. Even the keeper had not a chance in the world of saving that one. You had to have been almost like a ones player, like an apparently Jack type of level, or Eurus to save that one with responses. And sadly, the reflection now, 2-1 Solary, could even be 3 if Tox wants to do something devilishly in the air. Doesn't happen, but the shots here, it's adding up for Solary count much more better and a little bit more lively in this grand finale.
Oh, it's a lovely block from Exotic, and another, strong as you like, the brick wall that they need at this moment in time. The blue wave keeps coming, however, and eventually you're going to be drowned. Stake with a second, 2-2.
It's just criminal. Just such a delicate little play, so much back across, and the power generated as well. Hit it wrongly, and you're already hitting the crossbar. 2 precision shots in the space of another, and still no tiebreaker separating these two here in the second game. All the two seem to be smallly lining up here. Just in this case here, Solary needs their third goal for any sake in this final. They need to get it for confidence sake, and Stanway is willing to make things, though. They are willing to drag it out. They know what Solary's weakness is, and yet this passing play wasted.
Oh, and oh my goodness, if it wasn't for an outstanding save by Exotic, that would have been 3-2 Giants. Tox a little bit conservative on that last play, which is working out nicely. And again, he turns back. It's given up to the blue side of things before Tox steps in at last. Stake trying to reset. Tox wins the challenge. It goes infield. It's Tox backboard. Yeah, who's going to come in next? The answer was Attaching, who brings it over to the far wall. Carrion down, not the pass that anyone was looking for. He tries again and gives it away to Itachi. Far wall, his Stake. 40 boost on board. What can he do with it? It's a shot straight at net. Easy enough for Carrion, who was already back on rotation. Itachi off the top of the box. Loses control, loses it to Tox. Ends up in the hands of Itachi again, who goes backward. Was he looking for Zamway? Most likely. Was he looking for Zamway or Safe? Most likely. And again, the chance goes down, but Exotic has a lovely redirect and Itachi with a beautiful read. Cool as you like, shepherds it to the side. Still 2-2 with 30 seconds left.
Nice bit of control there in the corner. Realistically, OT seems likely at this point here. And on that auction in series, we saw pretty much a lengthy OT here. This has the elements of it, unless somebody wants to prove everybody wrong. Whipped away we go. Fabulous bit of play happened to an extent. Nothing too threatening on net. Well, at least there's ideas being created. Something to give hope for either side here. And Tox smartly leaves that one away here. One last chance for Solary. It should be saved. It should be whipped away. And Tox wants more to do some damage. Seems unlikely at this point. Oh, surely.
Well, not if Vodafone Giants have anything to say about it. So they're trying to fashion something. They're now in their own half and happy to take the overtime. Thank you very much. We've already seen a long one today at 6 minutes plus. Are we going to see anything of that variety, or are we going to see more of the Oxygen Ferrer winner overtime of just 8 seconds in length? Well, we've already gone past that as we settle in for a long one potentially. Zamway at the midfield. Carrion blocks him, doesn't get much further than that though. Helps it onwards, but with no feeder players, it's going to fall back into blue possession. Itachi is Stake, and Carrion nicks it off him. Challenge in the air, won by Stake, but Tox quick on the scene, looking for the backboard. Zamway over to Itachi, good communication, lovely transition out, only goes as far as Exotic, who misses his touch there. Easy enough for Zamway, but he didn't have much boost. I don't think he had any, actually. Free shot for Carrion here, as Stake makes the save. It's up to the top of the box. No one willing to chase until Tox joins the scene. It's back in the middle. Lovely dunk. Is that... require the save from Zamway. Unlucky. Good pressure from Solary.
Just that little bit of extra power, and that would have been it. Simple. Sounds so easy sometimes, but yet when you see it in vision, you're just wishing for it to happen sometimes. In this passing play, Top should save it. And the only problem with this, how much power he's put it on and carry on, has actually helped Solary so greatly with that one little touch, and they can build on. And again, we have elected once again for simple long shots, clearance as well too. And you know what? We've only seen one of them go in, and that's that man Tox already.
It's another save made for Zamway. That's his 7th save of the game. The man has been a beast, living up to his old anchor role. And there's shenanigans in the midfield, which allows Itachi to snipe in. Is he going to snipe a goal here? Tox interferes, and that's another big clearance from the side of Solary. Stake trying to get the pinch, it falls straight to the opposition, however. Zamway steps in. Carrion then to step over. It's still in the middle, a little bit heavy-handed from Carrion as it falls onto the far wall. It's actually going to try and get a pinch. It wasn't the greatest, and he's run out of boost at that. Exotic, Tox going for bump from Stake. Exotic on his own. It requires Zamway again. Save number 8. And Itachi bails out the defense once more. Boost starvation, the order of the day for Solary, as Vodafone Giants flail, trying to find some semblance of control in their own half. It's Solary again. It's Solary again. Tags open device, forces.
It's absolutely filtering any type of pressure at this point here. And the burden of 3 minutes as well coming up onto the clock. Just got to give a spot and a feeling here to Solary that this one goes in. And I hate to say it, I usually know Michael defending her.
Such a tepid end to what was a rather tense overtime. And Solary bite back. 14 shots on target for them. 10 shots on target for the Giants. But it was the accuracy of the shots that were doing it for me when it came to Solary. Every single one of those attacks looking stinging. The Giants a little bit more wayward in their shooting. They really had to work to open the passing lanes. And when they did make it there, fair enough, they did put away their chances, but obviously not with enough energy to see out the game. Honestly, the sort of final that I was expecting here, Danny, it's going to go one way, it's going to go the other. If we don't reach a Game 7, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I think anybody as a neutral will be disappointed. I bet you Giants to be feeling a little bit annoyed with themselves that they didn't have Solary within their own clutches and finish the game off. That OT was fabulous from a spectating neutral. But how about this here, Erling? How about this here? Finally, Solary starts the way they mean to.
Not just the ballet performance, but the dunk on top of that as well. Beautiful individual play from Exotic to open us up in the first 10 seconds of game number 3. Exactly how you love to bounce off the boon of an overtime win. Exotic looking for the infield pass. Tox trying to bully his way into the play. And Carrion there with a bit of a mistouch. It actually ends up behind him, and that's given up to Zamway. Carrion forced to put it up. Bit of a trepidatious position here as it falls back in. Carrion causing all sorts of problems, all on his own with zero boost. Itachi, the little pop over. Stake with a shot, it goes wide. And Solary are going to be happy with that. They do not want to give up such an early lead.
This is really where themselves where you do have the lead and you're willing to play that a little bit more cautious. The only problem is the playing style might leave you well truly exposed here, and Solary are just letting the ball go to their own control, and that's going to be problematic here. Vodafone Giants will be happily enjoying the fact that they will take it and they will just use that as a weapon against their Tux. Doing an ideal job, slowing it down at the mid lane, allow the boost to be restored, and back we go in.
Tox. Again, it's a straight shot into the corner. And left for Carrion here to have a shot. Again, goes wide. As long as they're putting on pressure, though, Solary, that's all they're really going to want to do. Keep this 1-0 scoreline, as precarious as it is. Lovely control from Itachi. And Tox keeps it alive in the midfield as long as possible. Exotic executes a nice clearance. It's over the top of one. It's actually a shot on target. Required Zamway for the save. And that one going a little bit high as Stake shepherds it away. Itachi on his own. That is very dangerous. That's very dangerous indeed. And Zamway bumps his own teammate out the play. Well, they talk about stabbing people in the back. He's your new teammate. You don't want to make the wrong impression there.
Well, Harmless is sort of the worth of 30 pieces of silver, perhaps, as well. Betrayal on the line here, and Vodafone Giants finally nicks that one over the line. Took so long for Giants to get this one in, and Solary, again, the same issue that Oxygen that they faced earlier, where what they get him from, they just leave it and leave themselves getting picked up at the wrong moments.
A lot of happy Giants chants in chat, and they might be happy with another. Don't worry, folks. I'm fat. I can make those jokes. It's okay. Into Carrion, and wow, that was punchy. Well, if you're going to make an impression, this is how you do it. Bim, bam, goal.
That's the way they're going to respond every time they concede. I'll be happy for their sake, because that's what they needed. And per finish, he'll be sitting there sort of biting the end of his fingernails, sort of going, why can't we do this every time? But he's got to be the one that hypes them up as well during those 60 seconds. And they may just concede. They have just got away with one. And Exotic, he's played that so smartly, but wasted the final touch. He should have at least brought it back in field there, like Kirian, to move back in to actually have a decent shot on target.
The counter-attack is 2v1. Zamway goes for the bump. He gets the bump, but Tox wasn't bumped far enough. Stake unable to make a connection with that particular opportunity either. And once again, Solary are able to clear. As far as Zamway, connection with Stake, round the corner, nobody willing to commit. It's out into the midfield. Itachi taking to the skies. He's up, he's ready, and he's intercepted by Tox. The fighter squadron sent to shoot him down while he had a chance. And it's well done by Solary, as Exotic here has got an open net situation. He just needs to get the double tap, and he misses at the crucial moment. Daylight between the two teams was on a plate, and is there now going to be a second sting? No, Tox back on hand to make a crucial save. It's another shot, a double commit, another save from Solary.
One misfire, and the dominoes effect just keeps tipping everything down here, and Zamway's done well. If he got the bump off, that would have opened the floodgates surely at this point. Oh, this is such an interesting game 3 here. The pieces are now finally laying themselves up here. Who will make that blunder? It's Giants once more, playing from their own corner. They can't have the luxury of slow playing it at this point. They're the ones chasing as well. And Exotic just whips this one back into the corner. Just have to keep it there. That's all they have to do. Again, simple, so effective as well too, if they keep it high. So much boost will be wasted with the 30 seconds remaining.
This isn't so much about who's going to make a big mistake, Danny. It's can Solary not make any mistakes? They're the ones in the lead. They're the ones with just 20 seconds left. They're the ones who have missed good opportunities. And Exotic, oh, with the gorgeous flick round the keeper, is going to sew this one up with a beautiful bow on top. A must-see flick of all things. Oh, the flex, 3-1.
There's very little to say. If he's not sitting there smiling and chuckling at himself for what they've just done.
Ooh.
All right, Solary, we see you, we get you. But leave Giants alone, they're already dead in game 3.
It might not be a 5-star performance, but for Exotic, a 4-star performance is the least we can give him. His 4th of the game. The man popped, and to think that he could have had 5. What a brilliant game here from Solary, who, as a reminder, were 1-0 down in this series. They've won 2 consecutively in fine fashion in game number 3 in particular. Is there going to be a final goal to pat the stats for Vodafone Giants? The answer is no. And Solary take control of this best of 7. It appears that although Vodafone is the sponsor, it seems that Solary are the ones with the phone book at the moment, Danny. They've got Giants' number, and they need to react fast.
Well, let's hope there's no extra charges for Phone and Continental at this point here to an extent, Arlie, because you talked about the numbers alone with the shots. Plenty of decent saves to be there, accounted for, but at the end of the day, the main number is the series scoreline, 2-1. You said it there, they were chasing the series. You cannot simply give Giants the luxury of sort of having time and recovery. They recovered well, Solary here. Now, I just beg Solary at this point, Arlie, do not concede within the opening minutes.
Would be nice, wouldn't it? Would be nice. And thankfully for them, they are able to navigate the first 10 seconds or so well enough. Starting from the back, Exotic with the fake, but Zamway gets the 100 boost steal. Tox looking for Exotic. Lovely pass. Shot on net. Required another big save from Zamway. Itachi does well enough to get it into the midfield. Zamway, Itachi's not got anything to work with. The redirect almost on target. And stake denied by Tox off the line. Big man defense coming out from Solary, as on any other day that should have been 1-0. It wasn't, and Vodafone Giants left frustrated.
Just seems to be how the story has unfolded. Former teammates, and they're just taking lumps out of each other. Fabulous to see. And yet that wish of Solary not to concede, they've done that. And it'll allow both sides to calm down here. There's nothing more frustrating when you get a lead series wide and you can be chasing in game 4. That's a decent clearance as well. Solary has so much time, so much opportunity to build, and just little use of the ball that time around.
This is going to fall kindly to Tox, who throws it as far away from any player as possible. Lovely interception from Kerrion, and Tox trying to go near post. Itachi sussed him out. Itachi again winning at the midfield. This allows Stake to move on up. Zamway rotates back in, and I don't know why, honestly. They need to press higher. That's a horrible miscue from Zamway. Maybe that's why he was staying conservative. And wow, absolutely clinical from Tox here. And he's going to be loving life.
I've got no words. I've got no words at all for that. That was just simply clean. That's there, you just tip your hat out and you just go, well done. You just don't have a response, do you, Giants? You just look lethargic at this point in time. Just seems we 5+ hours worth of gameplay and waiting for the rest of the brackets just caught up to them here.
And lethargic really is what I would use as the word as well here, Danny. Very un-Giants-like, but again, they're coming up against a team whose style is clashing. They can't just go pass, 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 goal, because Solary is so quick on the defense today that they're able to intercept any sort of threat that's coming towards their net. Solary are doing incredibly well. And as much as we can say Giants aren't doing this, Giants aren't doing that, Solary doing everything right. Another big block from Carrion. Zamway was nowhere near the net, and Itachi forced to stop, shoot straight upwards with as little boost as he got, just to try and keep the pressure on. It's a downward ball for Itachi to put onto the backboard. And again, it sort of just falls into no one's hands. Tox will pick up the 100 boost, and cool as you like, round the world on the floor and out into the midfield again. Time wasting. Solary still lead.
Well, then, casting the qualifier one, seeing the grand finale was Solary to play the Lante Wave, and we looked at that side and we thought, okay, you've done that with a maybe mid-tier RLCS team. Can you do it with the top here? The invited one in the form of Vodafone Giants here. They have matched them, they've outclassed them at times here. The only issue I have right now is how much sort of gas in the tank they will have. They've came explosively into this now after game 2, and that goal there should have been tucked away. It just seems to be this grand final, the sort of the givings are no longer guarantees.
Listen, Danny, they're cooking, but there's no reason to say that they can't reheat the leftovers for tomorrow! Tox 2-0, and Solary are popping!
Is it really leftovers at this point? When the main course hasn't even been served? I think Tox has got enough of waiting, and finally sat himself at the main table against Vodafone Giants. How cruel it is. They will have the cold soup of the revenge here with 60 odd seconds here. There could be on match and tournament points. So this would be a mind-boggling tournament to say the least, how the results have gone, and has Solary made a decent claim for a top 8, maybe top 6 in the world now.
This has such a Christmas, Thanksgiving setting, doesn't it? Where it's awkward, right? The family's coming round. You're saying hello again after a while apart. And guess what? Vodafone Giants still have something to say. They disagree with your viewpoint, Solary. It's a 1-goal game.
Finally, a fight, at least from Giants. We haven't seen many matches like that. The closest we've seen that really go the distance was Oxygen's match against Solary. About 10 with 30 seconds on the clock. That infield pass, it's not even the issue about play style at a while. It's like Giants, it's not even passes, it's almost cowardly away into their final third, almost presuming Solary's just going to get a massive clear. It's just, where's the desire from Giants? That's what I want to see, because if you're going to be knocked out at second place, at least go out with some style.
And maybe there is one last opportunity here for Giants, but it'd have to be a full court carry in order to do so. But it's all Solar at the end here. They kill the ball in the corner, and they find themselves on match point as we head into game number 5. Significantly less chances in this particular encounter. Only 7 on the board for Solary there in the end. I think it was about 5 for the side of Vodafone Giants. And it's all a battle in the midfield, a midfield battle that ultimately Solary pushed up a little bit more and won with aplomb. And especially that second goal from Tox. You could tell it was going to be a close scoring game. If he hadn't scored it, then we would be talking about overtime right now. As it stands, we're talking about Solary potentially winning the entire thing in the next 5 minutes. This team is looking great. And Vodafone Giants, as you put it earlier, looking a little slow, looking a little conservative. Well, they've got to throw the kitchen sink at it now.
Just the kitchen sink, are they? At this point here, I think the door handles and the paintwork of the walls will be going here. I just hate to see the copper pipes for the central heating being thrown at it too here, because Giants has given me no confidence at all the way they've been playing this out. We talked about Tox being the main man. You said it yourself earlier in that game. The mid lane, such a key point, such a key area. And finally, we've seen Solary being tested. Where does that Conservatives play style? Throw it out of the window if you still have one left.
Oh, it's going to bite them though. It was a high press. It was a risk. And Exotic just goes up the other end and says, stuff it, I'm carving the turkey tonight.
Well, I hate to see what's being on that plate as well. Those Brussels sprouts and leaving the Giants winded. And frankly, they've been blowing off the main stage itself in Monaco. They will be absolutely furious. If this is how they get eliminated by that one goal, I'll tell you this here, there will be a lot of sad faces at the table. One vital block by Kirian, and we still go in this battlefield.
Oh, and they are battering that net, Vodafone Giants. But every single time they have a shot on target, it is met by a car with the black, yellow, and blue decal that represents Solary. This French team has had a little bit of a wandering time in the full split. But are they finally rising through the ranks with a player that left the opposition that they faced here? It's the first time that these two teams have met since Tox left the Vodafone Giants. And he knows what's on the line here. It's not just his pride, but a statement for his new team as a whole. We are here to challenge the best in the region. We are here to challenge for the top prizes. And they are just 3.5 minutes away from 10,000 euros in the bank account. Stake down to Itachi, trying to break from the back. And finally, it goes out somewhat, but only to Tox. It's the man of the moment, and it goes wide. Oh, so brutally wide. It's still lurking in the danger zone, but finally away.
Just sat there, and they were almost like the kids in the Christmas presents around the tree. Just delighted faces, and yet they had a stinker. And Tox. You talk about the man of the moment, the man of the hour. He's the man of the European region at the moment. He has shined brighter than anybody else. And finally, one heart to his former teammates, and it's a poisonous kiss as well.
Nothing but love, but sometimes love suffocates. And that is what Solary and in particular Tox are going to be feeling right now. 2-goal deficit for Vodafone Giants. Is it going to be 3? No, Zamway with another huge save. How many times has he bailed his team out? Too many to count. I fear I would say Zamway in field, Sake looking back to Zamway, but these connections, these passes, they just aren't hitting. How many times have Giants given the ball away, Danny? That seems to be their downfall here. And on top of that as well, because they are playing a little slower, they're slower to react to these mistakes. Itachi to the backboard, and again, the backboard defense supreme from Solary. Just 2 minutes left to survive. They can call themselves Monaco Gaming Show champions.
What a title. What an opportunity as well. There's plenty still left on the plate, however. Still to be sorted out for the Giants to make a statement that they're still in it. We wanted, as a neutrals, to be for the Game 7 after that opening one here, and Stake has opportunities, and he's just placed it in the one spot. Zamway straight up, and a Itachi block as well. Nothing is being left, even for the dog at this point here. It's just left on the bone.
Itachi in field wins the challenge backboard. They need a goal, and they need one soon. Vodafone Giants, another massive block. It's Stake, but it's straight to an orange player. Tox takes it out of Itachi's hands, puts it towards net. Zamway looking for the dunk, gets the dunk. Stake now incoming, and it's another big read from Tox. You know, I was going to go for his full name. I'm going to bail out that now. I was going to flub that all day long. Itachi towards net, and there's Tox again. Lovely save, lovely control. Cool as you like to the side. Itachi again loses the ball, and Zamway looking for the pass back. He ends up passing it forward to Tox, who wins his challenge on the wall and just wastes more time off the clock. 50 seconds now. Time running out for Giants. It might have already.
Oh, well, that's their pass and play right across. And Giants' former teammate, Tox Trappenage, you may not say it.
Nailed it, buddy.
It isn't the cursed name. Giants will be quite literally regretting the day they said goodbye as Exotic gives that final blow. 30 odd seconds and under. And that man Tox, he has just said to Europe, you have made one grave mistake.
It's a French team, it's a Spanish team, but I can only find Italian words for this situation. Mamma mia. Here we go again. Giants, the team that were the favorites. Giants, the team that were perceived better than the player that they let go to the team that they faced here. Well, if you want a pants down moment, you found it right here. The first competitive meeting between the two teams since that fateful transfer. And Tox is going to be the one with the last laugh. 4-0 is the final scoreline. 4-1 is the series scoreline. Solary win the Monaco Gaming Show warm-up edition.